Hello, everyone. What's going on? It's Brandon from Audio Addiction, and I have my co-host Alex and our special guest Therese. Give it
Hi.
up. Give it up for Therese. Very excited. I did mention to her when we met in New York. I was like, Therese, I am gonna need you to come on the show so I can know everything there is to know about Espa. So
Yes,
I'm
I had
stoked.
just seen them in New York. It was incredible. I can't wait to tell you all about it.
All right. Well, that's very sick. I'm stoked. As well as that, she set up a slideshow, which is really sick because Lord knows it took a lot of time. So give a lot of kudos to Therese. I know I couldn't
Yeah,
do
this one I didn't put a ton of effort into. Maybe like just an
it.
hour before this when I was like, "Oh, I should have my talking points down somewhere."
There you go. Well,
Fair. That's what I did for the Pixie stream, and I got carried away with it too. So
I also had a working slideshow that I actually showed a bunch of my coworkers on the K-pop metaverse, and I kind of just went off of that.
oh my God.
Because Espa was definitely the start of something that died pretty quickly.
Well, I'm excited to live and die by Espa right now. Um, how long have they been a group? I guess obviously we'll delve into the slideshow if that gives me more context here. Should I go to slide
Yeah,
one?
I don't think I put the whole like K profiles
Okay,
down or
it's all
anything,
right.
but they debuted like end of 2020.
Okay,
Um, I want to say like November. Actually, yeah, we could go ahead and get into the slideshow because I'm going to set the stage a bit
all
for
right.
those of you who might not have been into K-pop at this time.
Definitely not.
Um, in case you didn't know, SM has their own lore, all created pr- supposedly by Isuman. I also call him Musk, as in like Elon Musk, because he is like a crazy idea man. Uh, definitely,
I love this.
I can't attest to his like if he's a good person or not. This is just what I know from him being a CEO of a crazy entertainment company. He was kind of the one that started lore in K-pop. It started with TVXQ, and they just had like beginning lore that they later ditched, and I think it just became about the music. EXO has always had lore, and they continue to have lore, even if they don't always reference it. Where they would show their lore essentially was that they each had their own like elemental powers, kind of like
Hmm.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, and they would show this in interviews, in their choreography, in the performances, music videos, even to this day. I think there was like a recent Kai release where he's teleporting, which is his exo power. And another fun fact is that Isuman supposedly got this idea when about 12 UFOs were spotted over South Korea in the 70s. And he was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if all of those were aliens and they made a boy group? And
Huh?
that seems to be the beginning of EXO. You cannot quote me on this. This is just like the rabbit hole I went down trying to figure out where lore
oh my
started.
God.
But yeah, they would do crazy stuff. They would like show their powers in their performances on stage. Like I think Baekhyun has light powers, so he would control the stage lights. Or like one of them has earth powers, so he would like move the members around, sort of. It's crazy stuff. So I full on appreciate Isuman and his crazy ideas because they gave us some excellent entertainment. Um,
Fair. Yeah.
and I haven't had the chance to look at the other SM lore. I know NCT has lore. I think it's something like Clone Wars. I'm not sure. But I don't think any of the lore that SM created was meant to be connected until Espa. And
Okay.
you see that I added a little screenshot in the end of a Super M music video. There was this little like Taemin came out and he opened his phone and there was that little AE symbol. And at the time, no one knew what it was. They thought that it was teasing the new girl group that's supposedly going to come out with time, but no one was really sure. Into the next slide. We did find out pretty quickly that it was going to be a new girl group, but just to set the stage, This was what was happening when Espa debuted. It was the end of 2020. Everyone was like, shit, we thought this pandemic thing would be over right now. It's seeming to drag on. That's really weird. Hot take, pandemic was not fun. Not a good time. But
Whoa.
like think about like
mind blown.
I know,
now.
controversial, right?
Oh my god.
But think about like the current playlist that I had. I don't know about everyone else. Like Stray Kids, they had just released Backdoor, which was like the repackage of the God's Menu album. Everglow's La Di Da, like really good songs. And then Blackpink's Ice Cream was not on my playlist. I don't ever listen to that song, but it was there. There was also this super indie unknown release called Dynamite. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
No, definitely not. Nope.
It's real chill.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Next slide.
All right.
Yeah. So this is the setting. So you're like looking for some kind of escape, right? Isuman enters the chat. He's like, y'all, this is a new girl group. You got it right. AE, signaling new girl group. It's our newest one since Red Velvet. And it's going to be 8 members. And everyone's like, hell yeah, we love when girls sing. And then he was like, 4 of them will be real girls and 4 of them will be AI. And everyone was like, what? And he proceeded to then uploaded a weird interview video that was just one of the members and one of the AI members. And you would think that he would upload one for every single member and every single AI member, but he didn't. It was just that one. And then like pretty shortly after that, there was another upload, but it was a 10-minute like film about these girls that you have never heard of. So this was just getting you to know the members and know the world that they're living in, I guess, because no one in SM can just live in the real world. That'd be too boring.
Too real.
Yeah. And then this pretty girl, being me, you just met, condenses those down to 3 minutes. So we only have to watch 3 minutes. So yeah.
Nice.
Into the next slide, and it'll be embedded in there.
I heard this was a very long interview, and I appreciate Therese for cutting it down for not only time's sake, but my mental well-being, because I'm pretty sure I don't understand what the fuck's going on right now. So
it's
exciting.
Something that you can't explain. People just have to see. So
all right.
Yeah.
Until you understand what SM as a company is, you won't be able to like understand a thing.
It's so true.
I feel lost. So, but anyway, this is my Karina, whatever the hell that is. I don't know. Oh, we gotta go back.
안녕하세요, 카리나입니다. 오랜만이에요. 안녕하세요, 아이 카리나입니다. 야, 너무 딱딱하잖아. 이렇게 손 흔들면서 다시 해봐. Hi everyone, I'm 아이 카리나.
Huh? Huh? I have so many questions.
Yeah, as did everyone at this point. So it's like we're pretty much in the modern world, but I don't know, there's this weird stuff.
즉, 자신의 아이와 활발한 교류를 시도하기도 해. 이제껏 보지 못했던 이 새로운 존재를
닝닝 5초 전.
My, ready?
I'm ready. 작가는 미디어와 아트는
닝닝
같다.
지금이야.
존재는 본질에 앞선다. 사르트르의 가르침 중 여러분이 지금 이 시대에도 적용할 수 있는 대목은 이 한마디. 우리가 아이를 만들었지만 너희의 욕망
Professor, what if I get hacked?
IE Winter is offline.
I have so many questions.
You did a good job
Normal.
trimming the fat on that video.
That was good. Great job.
I tried to keep in the cool winter scenes because she does a lot of really cool action.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did we learn from all of this? Pretty much nothing. We learned that there's 4 members officially. There's 8 members, but there's 4 members.
Oh my god.
There's Giselle, who is the linguist / an intellectual. There's Winter, who's like the weapons specialist, more of a gamer. There's Ning Ning, who does like the artist hacking. And there's Karina, who you didn't learn much from this video, but she's really pretty. And she seems the closest to like the world portals, maybe?
I was going to say, I remember watching this when it came out and like developing an understanding for what all the members were supposed to be representing and like what they were supposed to be doing. Except for Karina, I was like, what are we learning about her?
There was
she likes
nothing
to
to take
What's
away.
happening?
That she's
Granted,
very good looking.
she was, for sure. Granted, she was the one that got the interview video, which I just cut down to that one snippet because the rest of it was just talking like this avatar was a normal person, and it didn't make a lot of sense. There was a lot more. There were a few other uploads that I didn't include, but it was mostly focusing on Karina as a dancer and like a performer, which granted, yeah, she's really good at. But didn't you like kind of got a glimpse of what all of them were going to contribute in music videos, but you don't know what's going on. You know that the little avatar people they hang out with in the real world are disappearing from the real world, and there's like this new suspicious character she wasn't called Black Mamba, but you can allude that it's Black Mamba. Yeah. You saw the little like snake snake icon
emoji.
thingies. Yeah.
I got you. Yeah,
but it was essentially like a crazy teaser.
I just that first scene where where she's just sitting across from like the AI person, like I just imagine like an empty seat there, and they had to obviously put in like the AI person. I'm just imagine looking over and you're just like, yeah, and then just somebody like walks in and is just seeing like this K-pop idol talking to no one. I would just be like, is she okay? She all right? I'd be very concerned.
It's so weird. I wonder if the girls that debuted knew what this concept was going to be, or what was going to entail with that.
Probably
like,
not.
There's no way, right? They were just in SM.
No
They're
way.
like SM trainees, whatever.
They
know whatever
idols.
they do will probably succeed.
I'm wondering if somebody told them ahead of time that it was going to be an 8-member group before they like selected the 4 of them. Like if the whole time he's talking about like, oh, I'm building an 8-member group, and he picks 4, and they're all just like, what the fuck?
Where are the other 4? Where are the other 4 members at?
Oh, what if it was a competition show and then like everyone got eliminated? They're like, I thought this was an 8-member group. No, I don't
Actually,
think that
we're
happened,
replacing
but...
all 4 members that we've picked. We've AI generated them into characters, and they'll actually be a part of your squad now. That's crazy.
No.
Let's do it.
So I follow a lot of AI idols because I'm just fascinated with it. I'm very like pro technology. I know like it's disruptive in the art world. I work in the art world somewhat. I get it. But at the same time, I just have to see what people plan on doing with these. And the comments for some of these AI members, like there was a member recently that left their group, an AI member that I forgot which one it was, but essentially it was like licensing for the design of that member got revoked from the company, so they had to remove the member. There's so many good comments on Superkind. Their TikToks have the best comments because they have one AI member and like 4 real dudes, and everyone's like, "Why did you make the center a USB?" Like what? It's fascinating to me.
No.
You remember,
it's so funny.
A side note, do you remember when they debuted, I think it was Mnet, debuted that VTuber group recently, and then they had issues because all the assets were like stolen?
It's not a great model, but I just want to see someone do it right, and I think Espa had the closest attempt at doing it right, or like what they wanted to do.
Fair enough.
I don't know if it'll ever get past Espa.
It might not. I don't know what the reception is on people who want half their group to be real and half of them to be AI. Just like,
but Espa's not actually using AI. That's
right.
The difference between Espa and the other groups that are using AI. Espa's not actually using AI. They're just using the AI concept.
And
okay.
To be real, AI, it's not real. It's not AI. All of the AI we've seen is like either programmed or just like photo mapped
models and stuff.
Yeah. And so like none of it, there's not even like, we're not even at Vocaloid levels yet. Like I'm pretty sure all of the AI idols that we know have real singers and they just aren't released.
For sure.
So
if you look at like some of these like AI or like whatever VTuber groups, like some of them are doing live streams and stuff where they're using like quote unquote AI filters or you know what I mean, like VTuber technology, where Espa doesn't even get close to leaning into it that hard.
No.
From what I know about them, it's very like detached in a sense of like all their concepting that is AI and everything that's related to AI is all like post-production done.
Yeah.
Right.
And you could tell, like, when this group was announced, everyone was really had high expectations because it's SM, so they have money. And when they finally saw that model of Ikarina, they were like, what the fuck? Like, this is not good. So I think everyone's hype kind of died down after that. As soon as they saw that model, they were like, okay, so this is basically just KDA, but not. So
I love KDA.
Yeah. But what you didn't learn in the video that I clipped up was that these avatars in Espa, they are made from whatever you upload to the internet. It kind of takes its own persona, and that's what the avatar is. So Karina has Ikarina, Winter has Winter. Everyone has their own persona that's created from what they upload. So, yeah.
All right. Well, also, we have a little somebody in the chat. May, I guess they said in Mave. Can't remember the member name. I guess they're referring to that comment about AI, and then as well as that, they said a Pokey is a nice AI CGI soloist, not famous. Sadly, I don't know if you guys have heard of whoever that is.
Yeah, I know who.
I've seen them come up on my YouTube recommended. Yeah,
I feel like Pokey has like a pretty niche audience, but I've definitely seen a handful of like collabs. I feel like there's a lot of like EDM collabs with Pokey or like remixes and stuff.
I mean, Hatsune Miku, the original
the OG
AI idol, yeah, like she did very, very well. So it makes sense that people would want to keep using this model.
All right. Well, are we ready to move on to the next slide?
Sure.
All right. All right. This is the first song. Do I need to know anything about it, Therese?
I think that video told you everything you need to know.
Okay, let's rock. All right.
Like the first super successful SM artist. She's Mother. That's all we can agree on.
Yeah.
I like the
For real.
I like the music video though. It was cool. I also like the music. I was surprised I don't know if they happen to have like a rapper. I feel like that's my that's my trope that I fall into as my K-pop.
Interesting that you say that. So who would you say stuck out to you without a rapper?
I'm trying to think who I thought really stuck out. They were all very good. I think I'm very neutral right now. I enjoy all of them, but I imagine as the songs go on, maybe one will go here and one will go here, and they'll find their ranking.
Yeah.
I feel, but they were all very good.
Yeah, I remember when this song first came out, people weren't that impressed. Rightfully so. It was a year of really good music. So you either got like the best of the best or the worst of the worst. And you know what I'm talking about when I say the worst songs.
Yeah.
But
Alex
but
does.
like
I don't. I have no consciousness on this.
I mentioned it at the beginning. It's ice cream, but I'm just saying. I love Blackpink. I do. I truly do. I do not like the song Ice Cream.
Throwing
It's
slander.
a controversial one.
That's a very justified opinion.
But yeah, so this was kind of like mid-tier at that time.
Okay,
The
fair
more I
enough.
listen to it now, the more I'm like, this is a banger.
I agree.
But
It's
it definitely
definitely
wasn't super appreciated.
it's like a sleeper. And
Mhm.
the one thing I noticed when I heard this is after watching, because they all had little teaser videos where they showed off like their like vocals and stuff
Okay.
prior to this,
Yeah.
right? There was a really good one for Giselle,
Oh yeah.
if you remember. Not to like spoil anything for Brandon, but you go from like Giselle's teaser to this, and I was like disappointed on this release, but
That's
I think
true.
she brings it back.
Okay.
Because when you saw all of them perform, I mean, they're all SM trainees, so they're like really talented anyway. But this is very much like a mid-level K-pop song for the talent that exists. So it's still a really good song.
The dance is iconic though.
Oh my God, that dance. So I actually talk about it on the next slide because what I noticed, I don't know if anyone else noticed this or started putting a compilation together, but
Oh, it's gonna play again. Okay, never mind.
oh, okay. Really cool choreography. That was definitely the highlight. A lot of the later 2020 K-pop songs had choreography that was specific to pandemic choreography. It was like when you couldn't have a live audience, when you were allowed to use the camera a lot more. So, like some of the examples I give were Backdoor, Daisy by Pentacon. They had this really like uh, kind of intimate moment with the camera where they were like handing around a daisy, and it's literally like the tiniest, most delicate hand gesture that you wouldn't be able to pick up on if you were like in the back watching them on stage.
Okay.
So there's like, and then the entire Kingdom competition show stage was like a 360 runway. They were going front, back, left, right. It was all over the place, and it worked really well because they didn't have a live audience. So I do really appreciate the stuff that came out because of that.
I have a side question related to this. Was Espa one of the groups that debuted not performing to a live audience until later in their career?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Brandon,
Yeah.
there's an era of groups that debuted in pandemic when there was no crowds at all, and some of them went, I think, almost like 2 years before performing to any crowd at all, anyone other than cameras. Like some of them had won awards, some of them had like multiple comebacks, had like done really well, but never performed to like a single soul.
And Pixie was like that too, right?
Yes, Pixie didn't perform to anyone for I want to say almost a year. They debuted kind of towards the end,
later.
like 2021, so almost out of it.
I share a huge love for Pixie as well.
Shout outs. Love Pixie. Yeah, no, the song was great. I really enjoyed, I think the thing that, again, not having rap parts in this song specifically, and I imagine there might be some going further, but it was cool to hear like the different like vocal layering that they had going on. I think I appreciated all of their voices more individually, where I feel like in some other K-pop groups that we've talked about, I feel like sometimes it kind of gets lost in the like K-pop production where they're just like, let's just do it all.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So it was very cool to hear a little bit of like differentiation between them. So I think that was really interesting, and I think it makes me more excited to get into some of their more current stuff because I genuinely try to take a listen to their music after I've done going through like these. So I'll go and just like binge listen to them after. And I'm like, man, that was a really cool song. I'm glad, I hope we listen to that one, or maybe not. I don't know, but this one was great.
And, Sterling confirmed for us in chat that there was no live audiences until about halfway through 2022.
That's a long time,
depending on the show.
So they definitely went at least almost 2 years without a live audience.
Yeah.
That hurts. That's rough.
Yeah. So the song they released after this, because I think it was a pre-release, or like just a debut single, they released a song called Forever, which was a cover from Yoo Youngjin. We're skipping that. It's not super relevant. It's a very like ballady song, which I don't usually vibe with, but it does showcase their vocals a lot more. So if you want to watch it, you should. I did notice, because I'd like to look at the credits and the songs that I really like. Yoo Young-jin is credited in Black Mamba, Next Level, and Savage. So their first 3 major title tracks. So there's definitely a connection. I haven't looked into their official like releases, but I really like the ones that they worked on with Espa. So yeah. And then they released Next Level, which leading up to Next Level, there wasn't a ton of information, but they did share that it was going to be a remake song again. It's remaking the Fast and Furious theme, which I already had strong opinions on because I had worked with Fast and Furious franchise, and I'm like, I don't want to hear the music again.
We love Vin Diesel in this house.
Yeah.
We love Vin Diesel.
No,
family,
thank you.
Family.
I'll watch the heck out of Tokyo Drift, but
that's true.
I think I'm done with the Fast and Furious franchise. I'm sorry.
Respect.
Actually.
But yeah, after people learned like, hey, 2 out of 3 of their first few releases are all covers, I think people were kind of turned off by that.
Fair enough.
And especially on the Discord that Irv and I are part of, or Alex, I saw a lot of people that were like,
I go by both.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people that were kind of like, okay, I'm done with Espa. I'm not interested in AI. I don't like this music that much. But you like hearing it now, I think gives you a lot more context because you've already been through. Brandon, have you listened to Espa prior to this?
No, this is all new.
Oh, heck yeah.
So for people who may have tuned in for this one, Alex and I had started this like between 6 months and a year ago, I guess, roughly, or maybe even a little less. I don't know how much time we've been doing this for, but he basically introduced me. The first group that I got or fell in love with was Twice. Twice is like my go-to. I love their stuff. I listen to them pretty much daily at this point. So I got into Twice. Then I moved from Twice to New Jeans, which for most people would probably be like, wow, thanks for picking the most popular ones. So then after that, then Alex was like, all right, well, I think we should do these on your channel. And I said, lit, let's go. And so then he pitched me Dreamcatcher, and I love Dreamcatcher now. So now I've been kind of going down the rabbit hole of different groups that he likes, as well as like groups that have been voted on. And Espa was actually one of the groups that we voted on early, but for whatever reason, we just didn't do it sooner, I guess, because there was no like comeback or anything as of that time, I think, right?
Yeah,
Alex?
and the problem is I like everybody. So
that is a problem.
That is a problem.
It's just it's an eternal fight to decide who to cover next, and
yeah.
You know.
And then we did the solo. Then more recently on here on Twitch, we did the solo artists. So that was fun. We did
like Hyuna, Sunmi, Eunbi, Chang'a,
Alexa.
but we also Alexa. We also did Pixie, an episode on Pixie and Tribe too.
Everglow.
So,
yeah, we did Everglow. I think that was it.
I don't know. We're just running the girl group gauntlet right now.
Yeah.
You got to do a guy group.
Stray Kids is on the list though. I've been having so many people ask me to do Stray Kids next, so we'll probably do Stray Kids next.
I love Stray Kids. I started following them around Miro, which I think was 2019.
Okay.
And it's crazy to see how far they come. It's not surprising because they are from a big 3, but it is like a lot of what they have done goes against like what K-pop was trying to do, I guess. But we can talk about that another time.
If you like Therese, just let us know if Therese should come on for Stray Kids. I'm
not going to look at the comments.
All right. Should I move on to the next slide? Keep chugging along. All right.
Yeah. So the next one, oh, okay, it is Next Level. This one you've probably heard because it did go viral.
I don't think he's heard it.
I have not. I don't think I've heard this, but we'll delve into it right now and
We'll
see if I've listened to it or not.
Okay.
I like this synth. This is wild.
I'm on the next level, yeah. 절대적으로를 지켜 내 손을 놓지 마라. 결속은 나의 무기. 광야로 걸어가 알아 내 home ground. 위협에 맞서서 제껴라 제껴라 제껴라. 상상도 못한 blackout 유혹은 깊고 진해. Too hot, too hot. 맞잡은 손을 놓쳐 난 절대 포기 못해. I'm on the next level. 저 너머의 문을 열어. Next level. 널 결국엔 내가 부셔. Next level.
That's cool. Okay.
코스모에 탈 때까지 next level. 지켜라 지켜라 지켜라. 라라라라라.
Descending. All right. Cool. I like
see
this.
the new info. 적대적인 고난과 슬픔. 널 덮아 변진화시켜. That's my novice. It's my novice. You lead, we follow. 감정들을 배운다. Watch me while I make it out. Watch me while I work it out. Watch me while I make it out. Watch me while I work it out.
This is cool.
Work it,
I like
work
this.
it, work it out. 건강할 수 없는 절망도 내 믿음을
Always forget how jarring this song is.
It's a cool shift. I like this.
Beat drop. Novice. Call it. 절대로 뒤를 돌아보지 마라. 광야의 곁은 내지 마라. 약속이 깨지면 모두 걷혀볼 수 없게 돼. 언제부턴가 불어내지 않은 신호.
Oh, this is tight.
파괴하고 말 거야. Come on, show me the way. Go some more. Yeah, yeah. Black Mamba가 만들어낸 광각 quest. Espa 아이로 분리시켜 먹길 원해. 그래. 중심을 잃고 목소리도 잃고 비난받고 사람들과 멀어지는 착각 속에 난 미술이 아이들을 불러봐. Espa의 next level 포스를 열어봐. 이건 real world 깨어났어. We against the feeling. What's the name? Black Mamba. 결국 난 문을 열어. 그 빛은 내가 fire. Too hot, too hot. 난 궁금해 미치겠어. 이 다음에 펼칠 story. I'm on the next level. 저 너머의
This is
문을
insane.
열어. Next level. 널 결국엔 내가 부셔. Next level. 코스모에 탈 때까지 next level. 제껴라 제껴라 제껴라. I'm on the next level. 더 강해져 자유롭게 next level. 난 광야의 내가 아냐. Next level.
Nice.
야수 같은 나를 느껴. Next level. 제껴라 제껴라 제껴라.
That was a kudos moment. Yeah, that was great.
That is, let it sink in, right? Because it was a lot to go through.
I'm letting it simmer right now. It is currently simmering
Yeah.
I am currently simmering on the stove right now. That was wow. Okay. That middle section is so jarring, but
Therese,
it's so
would
sick.
you
though.
Very
agree?
jarring.
Would you agree that they just dropped an SM song in the middle of a Fast and Furious track?
That's exactly what
is that
happened.
Is that like the way to summarize it?
Yeah. So what you were hearing with the synths at the beginning, that was the Fast and Furious track. It didn't used to have lyrics, so they were adding lyrics to that, and then somehow at some point they were like, you know what, let's just switch to a different beat. And then they were like, you know what, we did good, let's go back. And then they're like, actually, no, let's change it up again. It's a very like...
It's like this, pretty much.
Yeah, it's... It's a lot of Tetris pieces that don't fit together. Tetris, Espa.
Hey,
anyway.
hey, poggers.
But yeah, it was the most controversial song of that time, hands down.
Yeah.
And I was heavily on the side that hated this song. And I think listening back to it now, it's incredible. Like whatever they were doing, it worked, and everyone was talking about it, so that was like double it worked. Like you knew who Espa were because you were arguing about this track. So
you had to let them cook. That's what the reality is. Yeah.
It was a good it was a good marketing tactic, and I think a lot of other groups ended up following that tactic, and Mix maybe. But it was an interesting song. Very good vocals. That's all you can really take away.
The vocals were really good. I will say, like, I gotta give a shout out to them calling out a drop. I don't think I've ever had that actually happen, but for the sheer fact that they were like, yeah, here's where the beat drops, and then they just went straight into it. I gotta give them a lot of kudos for that. That was pretty sick. I'll give him the kudos for that, because that takes some real balls. If I had to say, for at least
I love it.
purposes.
Yeah, I do. I think it adds a little bit of cheese, or like a little bit of camp to the song that it was obviously doing anyway.
There's a lot of camp.
Yeah, and it was the vocabulary alone. I don't know if you were reading the lyrics, but you didn't have to. None of it, like hardly any of it, was in Korean. It was all like their lore vocabulary with novice,
pretty much,
like sync out, real world.
I'm not gonna lie.
All of the like.
I thought my Korean went up. I thought I was like, yeah, I'm picking it up. Like my subconscious was like, wow, I'm knowing more Korean now.
Brandon's about to go to Korea for vacation and start walking around saying novice and like sync dive to people.
Where's novice?
Whoa. I'm not gonna do that, okay? Chill. All right? I'm not gonna do that. I'm not that. I may be stupid, Alex, but I'm not that stupid, okay? Comparatively.
It's incredible.
Man, really?
What was even more incredible? You can go to the next slide now.
Throw me under
the bus. Gotta point out my weird favorite part about that song is the pronunciation of Winter saying next level.
Level. Yes.
Does that like stick out to anybody else? The way she enunciates next level is so odd and like noticeable to me, but I really like it.
I figured it was just part of the vocal direction, or like the way they wanted the track to sound.
Probably.
But yeah.
Unless I guess, would she introduce it like that live?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't watch a lot of their variety and stuff. I see videos every now and then on TikTok, and they seem like really funny people, especially when I saw them live. I was like, okay, I could get some drinks with these girls if they're of age. I don't know how old they are. I'm a very good casual stan.
I would get a drink
really
with
like
them if
lore.
I knew their age,
Yeah.
All I know about their personality is Giselle is really funny.
She's so funny, for sure.
All right, next slide here.
So this song went viral on TikTok. It went viral on all the Korean like variety shows, and it was like the move, like the choreography move that everyone was doing. But it was also a super controversial song. People didn't like the composition. They didn't like the change-ups. They didn't like the vocabulary. They thought it was lazy, that a lot of like they were doing covers, I guess. But it was too bad, because they were like killing the game. So
any publicity is good publicity, That's what I think.
Pretty much.
I think that's
pretty much. That was the way they went about it. So I think next up is the other music video they released. I couldn't remember which one okay, next slide. Next slide was where
are we not going to talk about this?
Seeing you started seeing all of the SM groups talk about Kwangya. I'm not kidding. This is NCT, XO.
I hope this is a thumbnail of this video.
I got these from.
And it's us,
everyone is in Kwangya.
Everybody us making like a pog face, like Kwangya.
Yeah. So this was like the start of all the Kwangya memes because it was just everywhere. I think there was even a relation to, what was the Red Velvet song? Feel My Rhythm. I think there was a relation to Kwangya in there.
Oh boy.
It's bizarre. They didn't do anything else with the other groups. It was literally just a line.
I remember when Feel My Rhythm came out, there was so many people trying to draw like connections to Seulgi. And I think being like Black Mamba or Seulgi being part of like a connection between the two. It was like a mess just because all these groups were just mentioning it.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
everyone was trying to figure out who Black Mamba was.
Right. Maybe you explain it in this, but for me, I'm just like, I don't know why all these groups are talking about Kwangya. There's like no connection here.
Unfortunately, there's never been a connection and they never made a connection. It was really just like getting all of them in on the SM center. Because if you remember Super M, they were the group that introduced Espa, and they were the like Avengers of K-pop. They even had an Avengers collab, and Isuman was pushing this hard, and people were kind of buying it.
Respect.
But because they were made up of like some of the most popular members of their other boy groups, so like
had to.
I understand he was trying to franchise SM. He was trying to make it the Marvel universe. Where you could just bring people in from other groups and have it be like a little collab.
Didn't they actually use the term SMCU?
Yeah. For all of the videos that I've condensed down, they started out saying like, this is the SM culture universe. And
respect.
It's interesting.
I want to get into a comment from Cloud in the chat. They said, I think the bad thing about Espa first songs is that they didn't come with an album to support the main songs.
That's probably part of it, yeah. But I think it's common for newer groups to only have 1 or 2 songs when they first debut, and then they get the mini album or the full album later. So not uncommon in K-pop, but definitely part of like the controversial parts where you only have these 3 songs to base them off of.
Yeah, I do think it's got to be less common for a group from the big 3 though, right? At that time, like normally, I think we're used to like smaller groups debuting with a single or like like a 3-song digital single kind of thing because of like budget issues, right? But like with SM, it clearly isn't a budget thing.
No, I think other big 3 groups have done this before, because if I remember, TXT only had 3-ish songs, and they did an entire world showcase tour with those 3 songs.
Okay, that's fair.
And then even like New Jeans.
Debuted.
Yeah.
Blackpink debuted with singles too. So
yes.
I guess it's not that weird.
All right. Well, move to the next slide here.
Yeah. So these are a lot of the awards they won. Pretty much all of 2021, 2022, they were sweeping. Like, they were the monster rookies, and everyone was acknowledging it because at the time, like, there was no LE SSERAFIM or IVE or any of the groups that you would probably put in your top 3 now. So they were definitely killing the game.
All right.
I said we're watching the bids out of order, but I think I got them in order.
Okay.
I can't remember. There was like the Culture Universe videos would drop either before or after music videos that they're related to. So like this one is related to Black Mamba, or no, this one's related to Next Level and Savage. But it released after Savage, but I wanted to put it before Savage because it made more sense.
Fair enough. All right, let's watch it.
On the unknown sync-out phenomenon.
D'une part, un groupement de hashtags qui sont à rechercher l'AI.
This is where they got some budget cuts. I don't know.
Some like MCU, like comic book.
Yeah, they were really going for MCU.
They really said, all right.
Oh my god, wait, pause the video. Go back to that slide and pause the video.
Oh god.
This killed me. I put hard subs in this because I was uploading YouTube. This line is killing me. Something in the Kwangya is disturbing the sync between the flat and the real world. Like, what does it mean?
Say that.
What does it mean?
Say that to any person in real life and see what their face looks like.
This is the Korean you should be learning.
I don't know. Honestly, I think this would be the equivalent of just taking an L in real life. I don't think.
Yeah. Okay, so
in that speech bubble, why is the only thing written
Sink?
Sink, by the way.
Okay, so Kwangya is from a Korean word. I think it's Gwangya, which means heaven. But they SMized it to mean Kwangya in this case. It's basically like the room of requirement for the internet. It's this infinite space that I guess you could build anything, do anything. And there's something out there that is disturbing the sync, meaning when the avatars can meet up with the humans in real life, that's the sync between the flat, which the flat is the internet, or like the portal between the internet and the real world, and then the real world. You know what that is. But so those are some of the vocabulary demystified, hopefully.
Nope.
So the flat.
You have to
in
go.
Other terms, like Kwangya would be like the AI universe or whatever. The flat would basically be like, to compare to like something more, I think, understandable would be like hyperspace.
Or maybe like the home menu. If this is a video game, it's like Kwangya's the dungeon and the flat is the home menu.
Like if you're going from the real world to Kwangya, you have to go through the flat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, we can move on past this
there's
one.
There's a disturbance in the force here.
Yeah.
We're watching the rest of the video though, right?
Yeah.
I know this shit's wild.
So right now they're in the flat, or this is Novice. She's in the flat.
싱크 다이브라고 해.
And she's trying to get the members to sync dive into their avatars. So they're like merging consciousness.
What is this, like some Code Lyoko shit?
Yeah. And now they're going into Kwangya.
No.
So this is them in Kwangya, like testing out their limits. They're actually using all the little powers they developed.
What?
They're still in Kwangya.
카리나는 참 의젓해.
늘 카리나만 믿는다.
모두의 카리나니까.
And something's attacking them with anxiety.
I feel like I'm in a
each of
fever
the
dream right
members-
now.
너의 가장 좋은 점으로만 만들어졌지. 이런데 사람들이 우리 둘 중에 누굴 좋아할까? 지워버려. 지워.
So I'll summarize that because I realize it went pretty fast. Basically, Espa had to go into the flat to meet up with Novice. Novice said, I can't leave the flat. You have to go into Kwangya yourselves and figure out what's going on. So they went into Kwangya. They got their own little superpowers. And then while they were like checking it out, something attacked them in that subway. That was part of the Next Level music video. And it was basically like putting all of their fears on them. And Karina, she was like talking with her eye, and it was being controlled by that hacker Black Mamba person. So she was thinking maybe I should delete everything I posted so that she doesn't exist. But she realized that it was an illusion, and she punched everyone out of it. That's her superpower, is punching.
One punch woman.
Punching real good. Yeah, one punch woman. And yeah, so they're like, they found Black Mamba, and it's like Shit's about to go down.
I also realized that Kwangya kind of sounds like Wakanda, which is also, like...
I never made that connection.
Yeah. And also, I feel like storyline-wise, it's, like, very similar. I'm not going to say exact, because I'm not trying to get anybody, canceled or anything. But it does remind me a lot of, like, Anakin's, like, storyline in the, like, original, like, episodes 1 through 3 of Star Wars, where he's just, like, controlled by the Sith. See, I'm a nerd. Ooh. That's why I was like, okay, that makes sense. But that's the only way I can relay it, where I feel like it makes sense. So, I don't know where I was
Alex,
getting at with that.
Alex, you look lost.
I feel like Alex, though. I definitely am lost to some degree. How are you feeling, Alex? Are you doing all right, bud?
I've seen all this before.
That's true.
I'm moderately following along. As somebody who doesn't like lore, I understand enough, I think.
Yeah.
You can get by.
We'll give you a test at the end.
Oh, no.
Okay, so now it's the Savage music video.
All right, let's rock.
Oh my gosh. Don't you know I'm a savage? I'm a killer. 널 깨라.
My favorite Giselle meme.
아직도 가리고 환각을 펼치 no fella. We holla. 두렵지 않아 no 희투하라. 날 믿어 너리 fake on me. 준비가 안 된 무대로 뭘 하나 fake on me. Got everybody 막 같은 me. 숙취를 느끼게 멘탈을 흔들어 놔. 싸늘한 관점 무너져 I can't 못해만 say no. 두고 봐난 좀 savage 너의 dirty한 play 너는 두고 볼 수 없어 나를 무너뜨리고 싶은 내 환각들이 점점 너를 구축할 이유가 돼 I'm a savage 널 부셔게 해줄게 I'm a
cool melody.
savage 널 짓밟아줄게 Get me now Get me now 지금 나를 잡아 아니 난 더 savage Get me now Get me now 이제 내가 너를 잡아 now I'm a savage Give me now Give me now 너의 말이 보여 네 약점 algorithm Give me now Give me now 난 아이싱 그 방에 말고 꺼져 savage Everybody look at me 익숙하잖니 양보해 참여야만 돼 어른스럽게 I'm locked up in the glass 난 널 거 싶은데 너무 끔찍하게 돼 그런 환각들은 나를 가둬놔 I'm going 광야로 게이밍 물리쳐오면 이 간질 MI로부터 멀어지게 만든 회심찬 내 trick We gon' 광야로 게이밍 배워버려 내 빛을 꺼 데미지를 내게 인정사정 볼 것 없는 punch 그거 봐난좀 savage 너의 재선역을 막아
I forgot how fun this video is.
It's so fun.
It is sick.
I love this edit for this part so much.
Get me now. 지금 나를 잡아 아니 난 더 savage. Get me now. 이제 내가 너를 잡아 now. I'm savage. Give me now.
Some eye action.
Interesting melodies.
Oh my god. All 8 members.
What the fuck?
Bro, they got roasted for that line.
I mean, I like it. I like this bridge. interesting melodies. What the hell?
What?
Dude, the melody at the end is so dissonant. It's crazy.
I love it.
It's so wild, yeah. Also, I love the Savage logo.
The Savage logo, it really like popped off their whole like graphic design scheme, I feel like.
Yeah,
it's metal as fuck, and I love that.
Yeah.
Literally and metaphorically, but this song was interesting. I think the thing that I noticed about Espa is that they are not choosing like what I would imagine like the melody set for like K-pop music is. Like I feel like a lot of their stuff is really dissonant and like a little jarring at some parts, because like even with Savage, like that bridge was like wildly in the left direction. Like they couldn't have went further left than they could, and then they're like, oh, okay, how are we gonna bring this back? We're just going to go into like the last chorus, but we're gonna make it like way more dissonant than the previous two times you listen to it. So I like that. I feel like that might be a common thing that they do in terms of their songwriting. So
the only way I can describe it is it's very SM coded.
Okay.
But like SM coded plus a notch. You know what I mean?
A little extra.
Right. I think eventually, Brandon, when we get around to listening to like other SM like groups like NCT and Red Velvet and stuff, that you'll, I think, understand the SM sound a little bit more, because it's very specific and it's very easy to tell when you're listening to an SM artist, I think.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah,
especially like on these music video tracks, at least like the main title tracks, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I really like this music video. This was where I was like, okay, I think I'm fully in on them as a group, as a musical concept. Like, even their lyrics were lore embedded, where they were singing about the previous video of just like trying to overcome those anxieties that Black Mamba's putting on them, and like breaking out of the illusion was the whole concept. So I think they have a very interesting like girl crush adjacent sound, because this was towards the end of a girl crush theme, which is like Everglow and Blackpink and all of the people that started the whole like darker girl group sounds.
Okay.
Or that were continuing it. And I think they went a little more techno, and I really like it. I'm 1000% like gamer girl, want all of the K-pop playing while I'm shooting shit up. So this is like right in that wheelhouse. But another thing that I love about K-pop is that they do full on, like they create a song that has build up, climax, and then like drop off. And this is that to 1,000. It was like a full on orchestral movement. So
I also like that they included a lot of like industrial elements. Like there was some really interesting like things that I like picked up on, and I was like, I don't understand why it's in here, but I like it, and I think it like again further separates them. I think again, I don't know if that's amongst any other SM artists, but I feel like if I can maybe reach a little bit, I would say that each SM artist might have something that's like a definitive characteristic of what they do. I don't know if we'll obviously get into some more, but
yeah, I think SM does utilize really annoying sounds as like sound effects, and they do it like to a memeable portion that makes the song good. Like, oh, this song is so bad it's good.
SM is like the kings of finding like weird samples in a trash can, in like a trash can folder, and somehow turning it into good songs. And you stole the words right out of my mouth. The only thing I was going to comment about the song really was that I love the industrial percussion a lot.
It was sick.
I mean, I like the song in general. The music video, I think, is like probably my favorite from them. But I think
Mhm.
my favorite part about the song is definitely like the industrial aspect of the percussion.
Also, that like dubstep-esque like bridge that was kind of wild. I felt like I felt like I got transported back to like early Skrillex. I had like a little PTSD moment. You know, I was like, damn. I'm like, I like that. I used to like that artist. Now I don't
That
listen
comes
to.
up, you panic, check your phone. What year is it?
Yeah, I was like, look. I was looking at my like Fitbit. I was like, what year is it? I'm here. It's still here, 2023. So, but
sometimes it's questionable. I mean,
well, I feel like after this is
some of
over with, I'm gonna have a lot more questions. But
hey, some of the music groups are dropping these days. I question what year it is too. So
right, like there's there was a new Avril Lavigne album and a new Jonas Brothers album, and I was like, whoa, where am I?
What day is it? No. So I guess we'll move on to the next one here.
Yeah.
This is. Oh wait, no, we
this
did
is
Savage.
Savage, Re-Savage.
Reskinned. All right. This is the other video. Looks like we have.
Yes.
All right, let's play.
This is where shit gets real.
All right.
나이비스
나이비스.
너의
Now this we love you.
용서받지 못할.
So they're saying like Navis is punished. She's grounded because she did something bad. We don't know. But now they're getting to fight Black Mamba.
Brandon's here just wishing this is an Espa song.
I do. Not gonna lie. I guess I just have to live in Kwangya.
Come on.
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of sick.
It's really cool. I love their action.
It's well done. This thing, I would watch this as a show.
넌 대체
Yes.
누구야? 난 너희들의 욕망으로 광야에서 만들어졌지. 왜 이런 짓을 한 거야? 루머, 사칭, 이간질, 악트. 너희들이 한 짓을 난 그대로 보여준 것뿐이다. 인간들로부터 광야와 아이를 지키고 인간 없이도 존재할 수 있음을 보여주기 위해.
Navis is grounded.
너는 플랫에서 벗어나면 안 되잖아.
She showed up to help.
털을 막을 거야. 리얼월드에서. Gotta go.
This is wild.
So
준비됐지?
now we're back in
마이?
the real world. We're
I'm
hacking
ready.
shit. Now we're back in Kwangya. She's taking the demon now. And this is how Navis helps. Navis, we love you.
Oh, it's an Infinity Stone. I mean, sorry.
Oh, we can finally get all the girls to A2K. yeah, that was the end of their universe short films.
Wow.
In the end, you see Nava's kind of like she loses her powers, so she's like, I'm gonna go to the real world because I don't know, these weird god things banished me from the internet. So that's all you see. They haven't uploaded any more since. I'm pretty sure they haven't. I haven't checked today, but
we did, yeah. Therese did do it down to the wire, so we have the most up to date information.
Now, do you, Therese, in your opinion, is this a concluded story?
I think it is more concluded than most of the Netflix K-dramas. So,
okay.
Yeah,
so
probably.
We're not really like on our toes waiting for the next one at the moment, I assume.
No, as soon as I get into this a little more in the other slides, but it kind of seems like the lore dropped out after the whole Hive almost acquisition. And now that Isuman isn't at the head of SM, he isn't the one creating these crazy ideas for them to produce. So
Right.
I think it's fair to assume that they might never pick this up again. I don't know. And that's why I went to their concert, because I was curious what it seemed like their plans were with their lore. The concert had like nothing to do with the lore, which was great. There were still
Sorry, was there any inclusion of it? Was there any like semblance of it still having that like 8-member group kind of thing to it? Okay.
Yeah, so they still had some songs that they performed with the eyes as like the background projections dancing with them.
Okay.
I think they did it for Savage and maybe Black Mamba. I forgot. Yeah, there were still a couple of times that you saw them, but they definitely didn't have their own lines or anything. It was very much just like backup dancers.
Right. And
they're
not doing like talking segments or like ments with them and everything. So it's very, I'm assuming at this point it seems like a fading out.
Yeah. Even their VCRs, like if they were alluding to lore, it was very light. Like it was mostly just the girls hanging out on a couch or like connecting with each other online. So they still have that online aspect, but I figure that's more towards the generation that we're in than towards their lore. So
okay.
Yeah, I think that's the end. They did have for Spicy, they had some teasers that were like, oh my gosh, there's weird things happening in the real world. And it kind of seems like the internet has exploded into the real world. I don't know if that was lore or if that was just part of their concept, because it seemed very like, I don't know, like you want little emojis floating like bubbles for aesthetic. I don't know if it's lore.
Interesting. Yeah, it does seem pretty conclusive, but we'll move on to girls.
Yeah.
So basically after that video, was this pre that last video?
This actually uploaded before the video you just saw did. It's continuing the fight with Black Mamba. Like this was the fight scene music video.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I just want to know where we're at. So, all right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
이런 나라 그대여 더 치명적인 전쟁 속에
was good.
Yeah.
Just disappears. Oh no.
Yeah.
She's like,
Black
bye.
Mamba's gone. It's a good thing Solgi wasn't Black Mamba.
Cloud said, I think that. Oh wait, no, I read that comment already. But in the last album's MV, they do have some weird stuff. So I assume
That's true.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I guess that was
we'll
a
get
comment.
into that one. Yeah, this
Okay.
was last year's title track, I think.
Okay. Okay.
And
Yeah.
it was like the end of their fight with Black Mamba, but in their latest album, which was released, when was it? I think end of 2022 or like beginning of 2023. That one does have a track that features Novice. So not completely gone, but the music video is you can tell like there's a difference in the music video. They're not as focused on whatever's going on in Kwangya. So yeah, maybe we'll get to that. I hope we should
No
get
love
to that
for
song
Kwangya.
because it's a really good song.
No love.
Yeah,
No love.
I think as of now we are back in the real world. Whatever is happening in Kwangya is just happening here now, and it's just K-pop nonsense.
Yeah, I will say that the song was good, but it's definitely not. It's definitely something that I feel like what made Espa interesting, and I'm sure obviously this is just the title track, so I'll go in and listen to more of it. But if I was to listen to Espa, which I have for a majority of their MVs that they have, I would listen to this and be like, are they okay? Like, I feel like they do some I felt like they did some wacky stuff previously, and this one just feels like they were like in a box, and like SM's like, okay, you have to do this song so like we can be good. And they're like, I guess, and then they just kind of put out like the things you would expect a K-pop group to do. I feel like they kind of did with their own spin on it, I will say. But I enjoyed it. I think I actually kind of like a little bit more of their quirkier, like odd stuff that I wouldn't really expect them to do. So that's my two
take
cents.
on that. My take on that real quick is that I think around the time that this came out, Espa was getting a little bit of a run for their money from other groups debuting around the same time that were, I would say, doing better with the general public up front than Espa was, because some of their stuff was so weird, and there's a gate to get into the lore, and the songs being like lore filled and everything, it's a little bit of like a repellent for general public. And there are other groups like NMIX and I don't know, other groups debuting around there from all big companies that were sort of creeping up, and I think making SM, this is just speculation, SM a little nervous about their like front runner girl group getting
the future
dusted by these other groups because they're doing a little too much extra. So I think this was an attempt to kind of pull it back a little bit, like keep the SM flavor and like a little weird, but not like not lose momentum and not get like left in the dust by the other groups that are doing NMIX, not a good example for more normal songs, but other groups that are doing more normal songs and getting like bigger
hits,
quicker. Like
hits,
I've La Seraphim, those kind of groups.
I will say, we haven't gotten into the B-sides from these releases either, but they are a lot more listener friendly.
For sure.
The title tracks are definitely like out of left field, and the B-sides are very much like they were pop heavy before we saw a lot of pop heavy stuff in K-pop. So I'm trying to go back to their my favorite album was The Savage, their first mini album. And it's definitely more of the Espa sound, but I don't know how to quite explain it. There's only one song in that mini album that I would say is for sure K-pop, and the rest of them kind of like they diverge between different genres, and it's nice. It's pretty nice. but still kind of a little like bitchy.
It's like I feel like yeah, and just kind of I guess getting the context of like listening to the previous songs obviously led up to this song, like I mean I guess in the context of how Alex put it of like, you know, they want their girl group to succeed and do well, so let's put out a song that's a little bit more tailored to what's currently coming out, where they have a better shot of getting to other people and saying like, hey, we have a group, you should check them out, sick, great. And then
they also started doing pre-releases, I think.
Okay.
As we got like later into their career, if I'm not mistaken, like they put out Illusion as a pre-release to girls.
Yes.
And Illusion, I remember, was a very from my understanding, pretty unanimous like hit pre-release. Like people were like, oh, this is good. And for me, that's I would consider it a B-side. It's not the official title track. I don't know if you consider, I think it's subjective whether you consider pre-releases B-sides or not, but I think it's my favorite B-side from them personally.
Yeah, as far as girls went, I don't think it was received quite that well. I think it all the points that you had were totally valid. Like it was boring compared to their other releases. The choreography was not as good. I will say that this was one of my favorite songs to see live. And I don't know if it was the hype from everyone around me. Like it was definitely like one of the mid concert sets where it's like after the ballads and like you're getting hyped up again. Yeah. So I really enjoyed watching this live. It was a lot more hype then. But yeah, when it came out, people are like, I could listen to other stuff.
Take it or leave
it's gotta be a good one live. It's got that like dance break, like instrumental section. So that's a great segment for like a live show.
Yeah.
I could see
so
it.
Yeah, this is pretty much the end of my slideshow stuff. If you wanted to like go into YouTube, we could look up Illusion because that is one of their better songs, like top 3 probably.
We just have one title track left.
Yes.
Then, right. Okay.
But if we wanted to look at Illusion now because it was on the Girls album.
Yeah, let's finish it off with Illusion and then
we also have Spicy. Did you want to do Spicy?
Yes, that's the next title track.
Okay, we'll do Spicy now then.
Let's do Illusion first.
Illusions first? Okay.
If we're
just
going
to get
chronologically.
a feel for the B-sides that they were putting out with their crazy stuff.
All right, let's do Illusion then.
I think you'll like Illusion.
Is there?
I don't think they had a music video for it. I think it was just a lyric video. Yeah.
It's like an animated
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, banger. The addicting part of that song for me is that every snare is like, I don't know what the sound is. It's like a wood block kind of
Yeah,
hit.
bunk. Yeah. It is for sure.
It's like the snare is so tonal that it just like it sticks out every time it hits in my head, and it makes the song like really like rhythmic, and like I can't stop bobbing my head along to it because I'm always expecting that really weird snare to cut through every time.
Yeah. I feel like it's a lot of ear candy. That's what I realized. Like Espa has
that snare and the slurp. It's like this song is full of really fun sounds.
Yummy, yummy, yummy in my tummy, tummy, tummy.
I couldn't get it. As soon as I saw that lyric, I was like, oh no.
I should add this to my list. I have a playlist of like batshit K-pop songs, and this is definitely one of them.
I mean, the song's great. I think I think this is a good I think this is a good mix of like their like very quirky nature of how they like go about their music, but I also feel like it also is a little bit more tamed in terms of like, okay, we'll give you some quirky, but it's still a song that like hits. And I appreciate the fact that they found that like niche middle ground where they're like, we don't want to sacrifice in the weird quirky stuff because Espa, like diehards, love that shit. And then as well as that, they're like, well, we have to get new fans. How are we going to do that? And they're like, well, we're going to release this really sick banger of a song, but also put like some weird quirky shit. So like each camp's like 10 out of 10. Love it.
Yeah.
Alex,
they got some good music.
Looks like you were about to say something.
I was just gonna say that I think this song is like a good bridge between like the title tracks and like what they do on their B-sides. It's it's still weird, but it's like not necessarily weird in terms of structure or in terms of like segments. It's just weird in terms of like it has a lot of SM flavor on it.
What did you think about this, Therese? Because I feel like you're obviously the Espa stan here, so
I loved it. As soon as I heard it, I was like, "Yep, more of this. I want more of this."
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get into spicy. Are we gonna put spicy? All right. This was after. So where does spicy sit? I guess.
So this is post New Jeans. We are in ANJ after New Jeans era. I think this.
Yeah, there's two eras.
There's two eras. Yes.
Why are you bringing New Jeans into this?
Because everything changed.
Reset. Yeah, they are literally the industry reset.
To be fair, Therese, I jumped into this. This is like
that's true.
I didn't know there was like a massive shakeup in K-pop. You know, I didn't feel that over in Metal Land over here. You know,
this is from May of this year.
Okay.
You listened to some Dreamcatcher too, so
I did,
you kind of get the gist of like there was very much like long form songs that had that really high climax. And we're not getting that as much anymore. We're getting the like 2 or 3 minute songs that have a lot more in English in them than they need to. And it's not a bad thing. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. But I do miss a lot of the crazy K-pop sounds.
Me too. Look, I'm forever a fan of like the hype, batshit wild stuff. That's why I like all the old Pixie stuff so much. That's why I like Everglow so much.
Good, yeah.
Just like the more chaotic and the more like hype, it's usually what I'm listening to K-pop for, because I love the New Jeans stuff, but I also listen to a ton of music that isn't K-pop and already sort of has those vibes. It's just very new for like K-pop.
Interesting.
It's not necessarily new generally speaking, but it's new to K-pop, which is like some people only listen to K-pop, so it's definitely like a big shift. and like an introduction to a new genre and all that kind of stuff, which is good. I just my personal hope, and this is like a tangent going off, is that we don't like all shift everything to this new like easy listening
okay
yeah
style, because I think that you lose what like K-pop is sort of, I don't want to say like based on, but like the heart of K-pop over the last years, you know.
Yeah, it's only a few groups that are still doing that campy, like really over the top stuff. Stray Kids being one of them.
Yeah.
And it's not as like people consider that out of date. So
yeah, I mean it's not lucrative for unknown groups. I mean,
yeah.
Pixie is doing it; they're not doing great.
Oof.
Craxy is doing it; they're not doing great.
Oh man.
Some exceptions maybe like Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher is such an odd exception. Like they're still doing their like hype,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
kind of like fast paced, like
love it,
heavier stuff. They're definitely a weird industry exception though. Other than that, like all the groups that are doing like the EDM influence and like the harder hitting stuff, they're either at the top like Stray Kids and they're like dropping weird like self-produced bangers at time after time and like kind of doing their own little bit of like a innovation and like reset, or there's groups on the other end that are like struggling to sell 2000 albums because they're doing stuff that people would consider popular in like 2017.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
But there's a like with the problem is that there's a market for it. It's just not big enough.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine a lot of people have jumped in like pre New Jeans, you know, like that kind of got into it because they're like, oh, this group's popular. Wow, I didn't know K-pop existed, you know, myself included. I mean, I always knew it existed, but like I didn't have someone that like can, you know, have their like traveler flag and basically guide me through the like K-pop like tunnels, you know. So I appreciate the fact that, and I say this every time I have Alex on here, is like I don't like some of the groups that I feel like I love now I probably wouldn't have never found out about on my own. So I hope that this is an experience for people who like are fresh to K-pop or new to it, that hopefully it gives them an opportunity to be like, hey, there's some stuff that like you actually might like but haven't given it a chance because for whatever reason, like one of my buddies I do a podcast with, I got him into Everglow, and he's like, what the fuck did you do to me? And I was like, I didn't do anything. I was just like, we were just listening to some Everglow music, and he's like, I love this shit now. I hate that I love this. And I was like, no. You have to love that you love it now, you know?
Yeah.
There's something for, I mean, K-pop isn't a genre. So there's like there's something for everyone. You know what I mean?
Way I've said it before is like K-pop, it scratches that itch that gamers get a lot, where it's the exploration, and it helps when someone's there to guide you through the game and be like, oh, what if you picked up this, or like, oh, what if you clicked on this video, and they're all so connected that like all the K-pop groups are so connected, like everyone knows each other and they're all from the same companies. So it's very easy to like go from one to the other to discover something new. And oh, I really like this weird subsection of a genre that was in half of a song. And then someone's like, oh,
fire.
That was a 10 out of 10 right there.
Yes.
I like that one a lot.
Yes.
I love the just like insane. Oh, and I like the insane synth. Like that synth is in your face.
Point out obviously the most notable thing, my favorite thing about the song is like the synth modulation that the producers went through to get like the design on all those synths is insane.
Yeah,
I can't imagine like how much
plot twist
production and everything went into like all that
plot
work.
twist.
What's the plot
Navis
twist?
is the synth producer.
Oh my god.
We figured it out.
Makes sense.
We love you, Navis.
Someone would have to be like AI to make the synths that fucking crazy, in my opinion.
Maybe.
No,
They're
this
so
is
good.
This is a great. I thought that Spicy was probably. I don't know how well it was received based off of previous, like especially if you're an older fan. I don't know where you would sit at on that track, but I enjoyed it a lot. I think there was like a lot of great energy about it. I actually could kind of relate it a little bit to like metal music almost a little bit, in a sense. Like definitely that like breakdown felt like very evocative of the type of music that I listen to, and I could almost feel like that song could be written in like a Punk Goes Pop kind of like remix version, like if a heavier band wind up putting it together. I feel like the transitional gap wouldn't be too difficult to traverse in terms of the sound. But yeah, this was hooks for days. Yeah. Great choreo. It was awesome.
This was one of those points where I wasn't paying a lot of attention to Espa because there were so many good girl groups out.
Sure.
And I am a boy group stan. I'm an army, but I do love like hard hitting girl group stuff like Pixie, like Everglow, like Espa. So I was a little lukewarm on this song, but then I'll tell you what changed my mind. It was a TikTok where someone remixed this song and replaced a lot of the lyrics with English, replaced the word spicy with a particular bad word that describes most like Mean Girls. And it hit so hard. And now I hear that every time I'm listening to the song, and it's 10 times better. And it now, of course, I love it. I listen to it all the time. I love their vocals. I could listen to them belting all day. So yeah, received well. I think especially the B-sides on this album are a lot more pop friendly, a lot more they could be on American radio and no one would notice. So
it's if you still listen to radio.
Good. That's true.
Shout out streaming, baby. Let's go.
Right.
Sick. No, yeah, that's it. I feel like I'll have to give this new release a listen because I enjoyed Spicy a lot, and I feel like if it's gonna be in a similar frame of reference, then I'll probably enjoy the album. But I'm also probably just gonna go down the rabbit hole and listen to everything from front to back a little bit. But yeah, it was very good. I enjoyed. I think that was probably one I enjoyed the most, actually. Maybe other than Savage. I think Savage is actually really good.
Savage is so good.
Savage is really good, and I also I'll give a shout out to Next Level. I know everybody didn't like the Fast and Furious rip, but I thought the song was great, and the change-ups were sick.
Don't put words in my mouth.
I didn't call on you specifically, so hey, I'm just saying. Family, baby. It was great. I think their older catalog is more interesting to me just because I think it's so jarring, and again, from the artists that I've typically listened to here on the channel, it's such a departure from the other groups that we've talked about that I'm I like it because I think it's just it's almost like the bad girl of K-pop
yes
groups. It's oh, okay,
yeah, they have so much attitude.
They have so much attitude. I'm excuse me, all right, I feel kind of I'm oh, excuse me, I'm sorry,
I love the attitude. That's why I'm a winter bias.
Yes.
I feel like she's got that like perma attitude face.
That's true. The styling, oh my god. We didn't talk about the styling in Spicy, but it was top
we'll go back.
notch.
We'll go back.
So
I'll go back to it. I'll get a good like
what we
frame.
noted about it being like post New Jeans too. Like if you told me that, so I've never seen the music video before, by the way.
Music video is good.
I've only listened to the song.
Oh.
So this is my first time seeing the music video.
Go to a different frame. These weren't the best.
All right,
told me that this is you told me that this is what new Espa would look like post New Jeans, I would not blink an eye.
Nope.
It's very.
It's still very like Y2K. And
I'm trying to find
very Barbie.
Good. That's a good one. I think we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go searching for it.
But it's very mansion party, like rich girls invited you over just to make fun of you.
Specifically, there was a scene where they were like in a park and like doing like they were filming like selfies, like selfie videos together and stuff. That's just like so reminiscent to me of like when I see like a very like third person perspective of them like filming like TikToks or like making videos together. Like, oh, that just reminds me of New Jeans. Like anytime I see them like doing stuff on a phone, now their marketing from New Jeans is so good that I associate groups using phones to New Jeans.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
They got you.
Technology, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Insane. I don't know if I guess I'm trying to think of what my bias would be. I guess my bias is the third one from the middle with the blue hair.
Is that Giselle?
I think it might
You're
be
a really bad frame for us.
I'm sorry,
she
man.
Is the rapper. She's one of the rappers. So.
All right, well then there you go. That's it.
The rapper who speaks English.
Yes.
Speak to me. Say less. That's all I need to know. Say less.
Yeah, Brandon only likes the rappers.
I'm not.
You don't even have to. He doesn't even have to listen to music before picking a bias. It's
what are you talking about?
100 out of 100 records.
What the hell, man?
All rap.
We all have a type. It's fine.
I'm not wrong.
Well, you were wrong about the not listening to the song. I feel like every time that I've gone through and had the groups on, I'm like, I'll go through and listen and try to be like, oh, I like this or I like this. But then ultimately my brain's like, rapper cool, like rapper fun, energy, love it, you know? Except for I will give a shout out to Swan from Purple Kiss. I really enjoyed her vocals. So I might have also a Swan bias.
True.
So
Swan is Swan.
Cool.
Just gotta introduce you to a group that has a lot of rappers.
Then it'll be more difficult.
Hey, that's Stray Kids.
Hey, ayo.
True. I was thinking Stray Kids or XG.
Well, we're doing XG. We're doing XG, yeah. So
XG's got 4 rappers. So
all right. So now I'm gonna have to.
I didn't know they had 4. Whoa.
Well, technically, Harvey, Jurin, Kokona, and Maya.
Okay. I think I only know the 2 that are used the most. Harvey and
Maya. Maya and Kokona are the ones that usually have like the rap verses most frequently.
Oh, okay.
Harvey and Jurin were part of the Cypher rap videos. Like Jurin and Harvey have their own Cypher. They're both in like the one that went viral. So
okay.
Yeah, I think technically 4, but I think most of their songs feature like Kokona and Maya.
I think I'm beyond learning like the members of new groups.
I'm so invested because they have the docu-series and I've watched every episode of it and they're all like an hour and a half to 2 hours long.
Oh my god,
that's long.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just like sit here and I watch all 2 hours of it and I'll cry. I'll be cheering for them. It's so emotional. They spent so much money on the doc. They documented every aspect of their entire existence. It's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're a fan.
Anyways, we're getting so off the topic.
I'll get into some comments. Cloud said before all the big debut of 2020 girls group, there was only Espa versus ITZY in the fight for 4th gen. Both groups basically could do whatever they want. So that's
true.
a comment for you guys. Yoshi said, he said he's doing all right. So cool. Gives off KDA vibes, to be honest, because it reminds me of Pop Stars. I think he was referring. I think the reference to Illusions, and then he said, "We love those lyrics." Yoshi also said, "I literally ignored New Jeans for a bit till recently, and even Dreamcatcher is changing too." Well, you need to get into Dreamcatcher.
Ooh.
Dreamcatcher's a vibe. I can say that for sure. Also noticed that like songs from XG and New Jeans, they have a little less focus on the music part and more lyric and voice focused, like lo-fi type feel or something. And then he also said he didn't see the MV for Spicy either. So, wow, bunch of newbies.
Good one.
Love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm really glad that you're covering Espa now, because it seems like they're kind of getting swept under with the resurgence of girl groups in the golden girl group era, and
that we seemingly it seems like it's never gonna end.
Hopefully.
we keep talking about it's like girl group year, girl group era. We've been talking about it being a girl group era for 4 years.
It
Where
is.
all the guys groups at?
So if you were here,
all the guy groups are either
before New Jeans.
Yeah, all the guy groups are either all the way at the top, like way above the girl groups, or they're way at the bottom below like the lowest girl groups. There's like almost no middle. It's really weird.
I'd say actually that I don't know if they're way above the girl groups anymore. I think that was always the perception, because before New Jeans and before like all these other really good girl groups started breaking records, the boy group fans were the most vocal, so it was hard to tell like who had the most fans, but it always was assumed that boy groups did. And now that we're seeing a lot more sales in K-pop and a lot more people getting into it, I'm pretty sure New Jeans has broken a couple of BTS's records already, and even Stray Kids is breaking those too. But I think they're definitely like, everyone's getting up to par with each other, which I'm really excited about.
It's crazy.
I still think boy group fans tend to be a lot louder and possibly more obnoxious. But I don't really interact with the fandoms that much anymore. So I have my like
Therese
3 or 4
out
army
here on
friends.
her own raft, you know, she's out here in
Definitely,
the middle of the ocean.
I mean, the boy group stands definitely seem to be more active, and I don't even mean just in like an online way, but like, I mean like active with like
social media,
promoting.
like supporting, promoting, buying, all that kind of stuff. Because you even have like, what was the group that on their debut like recently broke 1 million pre-orders? Like,
I think it was Zero Base One.
Yeah, Zero Base One. Before their first album came out, no music at all. Before their first album, they sold 1 million copies.
That's awesome.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
big salutes.
Like, compare that to like, I don't want to sit here and draw comparisons, but if you compare Kepler's debut, which would be the direct comparison to them, it's nowhere close to that.
Yeah.
So I think there's just a difference in buying power between the fandoms, like boy group fandom, girl group fandom. It's obviously there's a wash in between somewhere, but
I also attribute a lot of. Sorry, I don't mean to get us off topic again. If we wanted to watch the next one, it's a good song, but
we'll jump into it after. But if you wanted to say your piece, Therese, and then
okay,
we'll move on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think looking at it from Army side, I did notice a pretty large insurgence of K-pop fans after Dynamite, and it seems like it's kind of like there's like an anime like life cycle that you go through where you're getting into the really old stuff and then you want to get up with the new stuff, and it's kind of the same way with K-pop. Like everyone wants to get on to the new stuff, which is a lot of girl groups right now. So all of those Dynamite fans are like discovering girl groups and like going into that, especially while BTS are mostly serving in the army. So like I think now that there's a lot more there's a lot more female girl group stands, or female identifying.
Sure.
There's like definitely a higher promotion rate, higher buying rate, because girls spend money. I don't know why.
Wow,
Yeah.
It's just a thing.
That's definitely true, because like I'm not a part of a lot of fandoms, very few, but one I am is Pixies, and Pixies fandom. I'm sure there's a stat, like there was probably been like a census or something. It's got to be 90 to 95% women, or women identifying people as Pixie stands. It's very like there's a very common saying with like the Pixie stan accounts. It's like Pixies for the girls and the gays. Everyone I see like posting pictures with them at like the from like the selfie event. And even when I went to their concerts, it's tons of women, which is like odd for me, because I guess my first thoughts, my association with groups is typically like girl group, male fans.
Yeah, I could see
group,
that. Yeah.
Boy group, female fans. That's like, I would say, if you wanted to file it down to like the most simplest assumption possible for fandoms, that's probably pretty accurate generally. But there's so many like weird outliers. Like you're talking about how like BTS fans are kind of like spilling out because of the hiatus and stuff. So you're seeing a lot of BTS fans move to other fandoms, which includes girl groups. You have these groups like Pixie and Dreamcatcher, another one, Dreamcatcher for sure. A very different type of fandom than what I would have guessed their fandom was prior to being a part of it.
And even musically, like Dynamite was not a K-pop song. And a lot of the songs that we're seeing from K-pop are also kind of not K-pop songs. So it makes sense that they would like they would move throughout the more pop friendly stuff, because definitely like 5 years ago, you would not find any kind of song like Dynamite on the normal streaming playlists. So a lot of new fans that like the more relatable music.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm excited to be a minority twice for Pixie. You know, I shouldn't like Pixie. There we go. So kudos to me. Respect. Anyway, I'm gonna answer Yoshi or read Yoshi's comment, and then I guess we'll get into the next song. But he says Mamamoo hit different. Apparently, from what I found out, there are more girl fans than guy fans for Mamamoos. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Which is a group we haven't talked about yet. And I don't know if we will talk about Mamamoo or not.
I can attest to that. I definitely got into Mamamoo as my first girl group. And it primarily had to do with the attitude, the same way that Espa has their attitude. It's the entire, like, four girls, Hwasa Solar, Moonbyul, like, I was obsessed with.
Can I make a presumption here that correct me if I'm wrong, Therese. A lot of women are getting into Mamamoo because there is like a very I don't know how to word it correctly. Like
it's very cryptic.
Like there's a lot of like bait in Mamamoo, in like their relationship with each other and their relationship with their fans and like their music, and it's so cheeky, and they like own their sexuality a lot, and I feel like it draws in a lot of girl fans who would normally be the guy fans drawn in for the same reason, but they bring in both. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I do think that female stans tend to pay more attention to personality when it comes to K-pop groups if they're doing variety and stuff. And Mamamoo has like the best personality that they show on varieties.
They're very representative of, I think, a lot of what people want to see in K-pop, and a lot of what people, I think, attest to being good traits of boy groups also exist in Mamamoo. We have like a lot of confidence. You have Moonbyul, who I would say is somewhat like androgynous. kind of in the way she dresses and like and acts and stuff, and Hwasa, who's very sexuality forward, loves showing off her body, isn't afraid of like standards. You've got Solar, who's, you know, also like super confident, fitness, loves pole dancing, loves, you know, being like assertive, and
Wien.
Yeah. Love you, Wien.
Wien has all of the same like attitude aspects and a great voice.
Yeah, I'm not digging at her. I just know a little bit less about her than the others.
That's fair. That's an issue that she's dealt with before.
Oh my god.
Watercolor is great.
They're very. Oh yes, that's a good song. But I think Mamamoo is, and I think a lot of girl groups now are way more relatable than they were 3 years ago. Like Twice, well, and I grew up with like, I started discovering K-pop around the era of oh my god, I'm blanking. With like, I want to say Gossip Girl, but that's not a K-pop group.
Oh man,
the Sunmi's group.
Girls' Generation.
Wonder Girls. That's what I'm thinking.
Sorry.
No, Wonder Girls. I mostly listened. I started listening to K-pop with them. Girls' Generation, Twice. A lot of these girl groups were not the relatable type of girl groups. They were very much the like very polite, like very sweet, very cute girlies that I was like, nah, not for me. That's not how I live my life.
To BTS.
Yeah. So, and now like New Jeans is very much like the relatable high school girl, and Mix is like the weird Barbie, basically.
Yeah, like your weird neighbor.
Yeah, like Espa is definitely the mean girls, and like you have all of these different flavors of women that K-pop discovered they had
they turned over a rock
marketing for. Yeah, so it's a lot more representative of women.
New emotion unlocked. I love it.
Yeah.
I think we'll move on to the next one.
This last one.
We have Welcome to My World. I think we got that one. Are we going to listen to Better Things too, or?
If you want to. That's definitely more of the pop friendly.
Okay.
But this is the last of the lore as far as we know. See a lot of like minimal makeup, just like hanging out.
I respect it.
Love it.
Power moves. Interesting, some real like instrumentation. That's cool. I like that.
This is definitely a song for the instrumental.
guitar work was really sick. I always love when, I guess, K-pop groups kind of alternate between like something where, again, you would listen to Spicy and that's like more synth driven, and then you go to this song where you're like, is completely left of field in that way, but I appreciate the fact that it was all like real drums, like real guitar work. The bass, I guess, would probably be like modulated in some way, but I appreciate the fact that they kind of incorporated that into their music, because I don't, at least from what I've gathered, not a lot of K-pop groups really tend to do that. So it's nice to hear, groups kind of branch out in that way. The only other group I can really think of is like Dreamcatcher. I feel like they obviously are in a league of their own in that regard, but this was really cool. I probably gave me a little bit of the urge to try to figure that out on guitar now, because I just love the way that the guitar is phrased and stuff. So I enjoyed this one. That was probably my favorite Espa song to date right now. So
yeah.
Wow.
Really good.
Yeah, it's a really good song. I think the instrumentation is just beautiful, and the way it's like, the way they create such ambiance.
Oh yeah.
I love an ambiance song.
It is like a very. Sorry, go ahead.
It's one of those songs that you can listen to with your whole body.
Yeah.
I do think like beautiful is a good way, is a good descriptive. Like, it's interesting. The word I thought of associated with it is like very ethereal.
Yeah,
yes.
Like, that's a great word too.
It's very, I don't know, like the right adjective. It's like the mix is really wide, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
like
yeah.
a lot going. There's like a lot going on in like different like depths of like the listening space.
Yeah,
it's like a song I feel like I could listen to like 10 times and still hear like different things every time listening, which is cool for such like a song that I wouldn't really I don't think I would put it in my normal rotation if I'm listening to K-pop, because I'm normally listening to K-pop for like more hype stuff. But it's one of those songs where it like comes on in like a chill mix or something like that, where I'm just like vibing out to it.
It is just like so cinematic that it's hard to place on a playlist.
Like the violin sections were really sick. It also kind of gave me a little bit of like an emo sort of vibe, which again, if you're, if you know the channel, I'm all about that shit. But yeah, it kind of gave me that like emo sort of vibe, and I appreciate the kind of like, again, the darker tonality, like, and I would agree with Alex in regards to it being more ethereal. It was really cool. Is this, Therese, is that song on the same album that Spicy's on, or? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna have to give that a listen, because I enjoyed the hell out of all of that. That was great.
Catch up real quick.
Yep.
Yoshi said audio mixing was great. Yep, definitely very well mixed, well produced song.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, pretty much agreed with all the Mama stuff we're talking about. And Sterling said, I'm back. What I missed? Well, I don't know when you tuned out, but if you tuned out a while ago, you missed probably almost everything. I think we're like one song away from being done.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It depends how long ago you tuned out, but
let us know.
If you wanna, you can probably, when we're done, the VOD should be up for a little bit if you wanna go back and catch anything.
Yeah, let us know. But this is the last
Illusion.
one.
Yeah,
we did check out Illusion. Yeah.
Yeah, we did Illusion, and then
we just
didn't really miss much.
We did
between
Spicy.
Illusion, right? You just did Spicy,
and Welcome to My World.
Novice.
Yeah, so not too much.
Not too much.
Cool. We got one left.
Better Things. This is still part of the new album, correct? Or is this a brand new?
I think this is a separate release. I think it's fully in English.
This is their first English single. It's a separate single.
Which they have other songs in English.
They do.
But I think this is the one that they were trying to promote to America specifically.
Which no comment on how it's going. Let's check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
goddamn sure my energy's just too precious to waste. And I wanna know me, wanna know me, wanna know all about me, wanna know about me, but you can't have me 'cause I left him alone. You know you wanna know me, wanna know me, wanna know all about me, wanna know about me, but you can't have me 'cause I'm gone. I got better things to do in my time, better things to do in my time, do in my time.
And be like,
Yeah.
what the fuck happened? Because
I mean, that's literally you right now.
That's literally
you're talking
me.
about yourself.
I'm talking. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm talking about myself in the third person. I don't know what the fuck happened. I like if you were to show me Espa and you're like, hey, this is what they used to sound like. I'm like, sick. This is wild. And then you show me this song. I'm like, is it the same fucking band? That's crazy.
Yeah,
they do.
Look, that's what happens with most groups. Being honest, they just speed ran it.
They hit the soft reset. Yeah.
Like if you go to listen to Twice's debut and then go listen to their most recent, you're like, oh, this isn't the same group. But over like a natural progression, like years, that happens. Espa is just like, hey, let's do it
let's
3
cheat.
times speed.
Let's cheat to the finish. Let's just take a shortcut.
They definitely have this side discography going on, because the best way that these English releases has been explained, I think, I forgot who said this, but they were basically like, okay, so there's a group, they have Korean releases, their regular releases, right? And then they also want to promote in Japan, so they have Japan releases.
Sure, yeah.
And people don't always listen to them, but they're there and they have their own distinct flavor. Now everyone's branching into the US releases, except they're not calling them US releases. It's just another song to trick everyone. And that's kind of what they're doing. It's a different discography. It's still Espa, but it's US Espa. Just like I have a Japanese Espa. I actually don't know if they have Japanese songs, but yeah, it's not meant to be the same vibe as their Korean releases.
It's
because
new Espa.
Yeah, it's
Espa 2.0.
It's a separate discography.
It's point.
But
it's
they do
0.5
have
Espa.
There was another song they had that was like this. Oh, Life's Too Short.
Okay.
And
yeah,
that one's that one says English version on it. There's a Korean version as well.
Okay.
But it's in the same exact vein, and that was off of their Girls album. Yeah. So I think it's common now to see K-pop groups release an English single and try and top the Billboard charts.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, Cupid did it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
So,
I was gonna say, you see Cupid, you see the BTS songs, you see.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Left XG's Left Right, like all getting on the radio, like getting like serious top 40 radio play. So like everyone's gonna take a stab at it, and most of the time it's not gonna hit. But
I thought that was a solid.
Yeah,
this was a solid ad.
I don't dislike the song at all, but it's definitely, I think if their market, if they were looking to break radio, like similar to Cupid's virality or similar to like XG being played on the radio all the time when Left Right just came out, I don't think it got there, but I don't think it like flopped or anything necessarily.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's definitely more shallow compared to My World.
Yeah. I mean it's something good for them to do because they do have a good international fan base. They do well in the States. They at least all have some proficiency with speaking English. They're very well adapted to the overseas audience group. So it makes sense for someone like them to do singles in English because it feels more natural for a group like them for sure. Where
plus their English is decent. Like it doesn't sound overly enunciated or
yeah. I mean, in the song for sure, it sounds very good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think the thing that I find about this song is that like if I closed my eyes and you just played this song, I would have been like, okay, this is like I wouldn't even really be able to place the group, but like I do appreciate the fact that they're trying to branch out into like the US market. I think I would argue that a lot of K-pop has become very popular in the States as of more currently. Again, BTS has been here for doing music for a long time. You know, Blackpink obviously helped out with that, like, again, popularity. New Jeans more currently is like obviously pulling more people in. So I just think that obviously in terms of like from the perspective of like working with bands and groups across the world, like obviously for me that perspective of like, okay, yeah, they're trying to do an English song because they want to become popular in the States so that they can like obviously further their like global presence, and I appreciate that. I just it's maybe a little bit jarring for me as like someone who is like Western, where it's like, okay, you have like a certain subset of songs that you release that are only going like that are like more so for like the diehard like Espa like stans that like obviously know them from like their Korean music, and then you have people that are like, I've never fucking heard of this group before. They listen to this song and they're like, I like this song, and then they go and check out Espa and they're like, what is this? What did you give me? What is going on here? So I'm curious if groups will be going further trying to kind of find like bridging that gap a little bit more.
I
I'd
hope
argue,
they do,
because I think
I
think it can be a little bit jarring from someone who is unfamiliar with K-pop as a genre, where they expect just something to just be like in your face, like aggressive, like punchy, and may not get it with this song. I don't think that it's a bad song. I really enjoyed it actually, but like it almost in my head like subconsciously is just like, oh, this is an Espa. This is like
right.
I like
you
this
wouldn't
group.
suggest it.
I wouldn't suggest it, but I think it's a good song. And I think if you like really delve into the group, then you'll understand as to why it's a part of that. But I don't think like from an outside looking in, where you're like, this doesn't make sense to me personally. But maybe they'll watch this and be like, oh, okay, now I get it. That's cool.
Yep.
I hope they'll come to the same conclusions I'm coming to, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's what we can always hope for. The first thing I ask, because I've been trying to get people to listen to K-pop since like 2018, and it's so hard. And I figured out why they don't want to listen to K-pop. It's because they don't want to listen to music. Like a lot of people I know, they don't like music. They have something on in the background. Boo. I know. So I started asking people. I'm like, why? I ask them, why do you listen to music and when do you listen to music? And usually it's like, oh, it's while I'm studying, or oh, it's while I'm playing video games. And that's very different from how I listen to music, which is like intently, like this is my main function. And I've realized like, okay, if they don't really listen to music, they're not going to like Savage, but they might like this one. So then it's a little easier to give them recommendations.
Yeah. But I also feel like it gives them like a jaded perspective, because like if you give them this song and you just throw it on in the background, they're like, oh yeah, this is what Espa is gonna sound like, and they go check out Espa and it's just like, it's got like some weird shit going on, and you're like, fuck.
When people don't really like music, they don't look at the artist. It's like
true.
Cupid.
That's true.
Like people did not know who 50/50 was. They were just like, I like this TikTok song. So
my tactic is, if I'm trying to get somebody into K-pop or like a specific group or a song, I don't even mention K-pop.
Right.
That's
because
fair,
because that's a turnoff.
K-pop itself as a word is a huge deterrent.
Yeah.
Like huge deterrent. Crazy.
It's like
if I send somebody, if I send some of my friends who are like in metal bands and stuff, Bon Voyage by Dreamcatcher, they're gonna be like, "Yo, this is sick," and then I'll tell them it's K-pop, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't like it."
Get this
That's
shit
what
out of
happened
here.
to me with a lot of people, because I had Cupid. I'm like on our company playlist, we play songs out to the ether just for fun, and one of them I put on was Cupid, like really early on, and so the more people heard it, the more they're like, "Oh, I like this song," and then I was like, "Did you know it's a K-pop group?" And then like half of the people listening said, "I don't like this song anymore." Like you just said you like the song.
Rip.
Who's the
so
imposter?
Upsetting.
We found the imposter. That's who it is.
Yeah.
Well,
get him out.
Before we get too
down the rabbit hole
here, Brandon, you want to wrap up with any closing final thoughts on Espa before we wrap?
I enjoyed them. I think it's arguably, I think I've kind of gone through the 4 stages of just like mental fortitude here, because I think lore-wise, there's no fucking way I would be able to traverse this. So I gotta give a big salutes to Therese here for coming on and giving us, allowing me to delve into the world of Espa. So watch this if you have not checked out Espa before. Good jumping off point, I'd argue. So that would be my first thought. Second thought, well, I do agree with what Alex said earlier about like groups kind of like hitting the fast forward button on like sound changes. I do think that I actually enjoyed their kind of like quirky nature prior to them shifting with Spicy. But I also feel like in a weird way, I also enjoy everything after Spicy too. So I think there's this really weird dichotomy of like, I enjoy the old stuff, but I think I enjoy it because it's like, I wish that they would write more stuff like this, because I think it's just weird and different, and I appreciate that. They're like that one person that like dressed in like all goth stuff, and you're like, I don't know if I should talk to that person. They seem a little too edgy for me. But like, you like appreciate them from afar. That's kind of how I feel like old Espa is to me, where I'm like, I like you. You're kind of a little edgy, and that's like an endearing quality. Where I feel like new Espa is like still like the popular,
got a full-time job, settled down.
Yeah. But still, there's still a little tinge of like edge where you're like, you may have went like corporate emo, but I respect it. Like it's hard. It's a hard lifestyle to live, but I appreciate the fact that they haven't fully given up on it. But it's I feel like it's introduced in a different way now, where I feel like people for old Espa are like, I like that. That's my shit. I got it. And then like new people that just find out about Espa are like, oh, sick. Okay, I really enjoyed this. This is really neat. Like, and I hope that maybe they might draw the lines between like, oh, okay, these quirky, like weird things, like have always been a part of Espa, but in a different fashion, if that makes sense. So that's my final thoughts. I don't really have much else, but I enjoyed it. I want to listen to the new Espa album, so I probably will do that. I'll get into some comments here. Yoshi said that the song was good. Music, I guess this was a comment on when we were talking about music earlier, is what determines my mood. Ultimately is what helps me feel emotion sometimes. Totally can get behind that. And then sometimes I don't have the words on how I feel. I just listen to a song that's big mood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unspoken language. I got that. That's true testament. But I guess I'll wrap it off with this. Therese, what is one song that you think I should go listen to in the off time that you were like, we didn't get a chance to listen to it in this stream, but I almost can be assured there are some songs you would want me to listen to in my free time?
I would say one of my favorites is Energy. AE Nergy. It's like energy, but for eyes.
Oh, nice. Respect.
Yeah, that's the only one that I really like that
okay.
we didn't get into.
All right. Well, I don't think I'm going to forget it because that seems like a pretty impressive name to remember. So, but yeah, guys, thank you for joining the stream. I don't know who we're doing next. I guess Alex, who are we going to make another poll again?
Nah, we don't need to do a poll. We'll just move on to like something else from the poll. I'm not sure. Haven't fully decided yet.
I think Le Seraphim was next.
Was the next highest. Maybe Le Seraphim, maybe Card. Who knows?
Ooh, Card was Card was like third, maybe. I think on the voting. So if you haven't voted on it, let us know. We've already done the solo artist. You can check it out in the VOD here, but yeah, all of the videos will probably be on here now, and then all of the stuff will be uploaded to YouTube. Hopefully we don't get blocked. That's what we're gonna find out. But
so it'll be one of those. We have XG in like a little over a week. So I don't know, maybe nothing until XG. Maybe we'll squeeze one in. We'll see.
Yeah, I feel like we could do either Le Seraphim or Card. I feel like those would be, and then we'll have
good options.
Then we'll have to, guys, let us know in the YouTube comments if you would like to have Therese back for Stray Kids. She may or may not make a PowerPoint for it again. So can't
pressure.
Confirm.
There's no definitive lore.
Okay,
I feel like
no pressure. We'll just have Therese on.
Explain.
We'll have Therese on for like the moral support and also like funny tidbits that I didn't know about Stray Kids, because I know maybe this much about Stray Kids. So
yeah, no pressure. But if you want to come and hang out for another stream, obviously you're more than welcome. It's helpful for me, at least, having someone else in the stream who can like kind of like fact check me and like help me confirm stuff and like.
Whoa, Cloud was in here.
Oh yeah, I mean having people in the chat is great. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying in the call.
In there.
You're saying in
the
call.
Yeah, I mean in the call, like
okay,
helping me like in real time.
Therese, come on whenever you want.
Awesome. I definitely know a lot about K-pop, but I'm not an expert. There's definitely people that have been listening way before me. I
same here.
I was fascinated by the entire subculture.
Who do we have in our in Purple Kiss, or not Purple Kiss? The solos. It was also in the Soju chat.
Oh, Mal was in the
Mal was in the solos.
Nice.
It was in our stream for solos because we were doing Unbi.
Yeah. He was like, I had to stay on for Unbi, so shout out.
He was rattling off everything
Facts.
you could ever need to know about MB. It was good.
Yeah. I didn't need to know anything. He just gave it. I didn't even ask for it. He just gave it to me, and I
That's
appreciate
Kpop
that.
stands for you.
They're just like, here. And then it was just like a fucking paragraph full of words. And I was like, I don't know if I could read all this, but I'm going to try. So, but yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. Again, give a massive kudos to Therese for coming on, making the PowerPoint. Make sure you say thank you, in the comments or chat or whatever. Say thank you to Therese.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Of
Glad
course.
that we got to meet in person and now virtually.
Yeah, feel free to come back on anytime. If there's a group that you would want us to pitch, to the fam here, feel free to make your case known. I don't know if we'd ever touch BTS though, because I feel like I'm not ready to.
I don't even know. I wouldn't even know where to start, honestly.
I don't know why you would. Who are you introducing BTS to?
I haven't listened to everything BTS. Okay, so I only
There's
know
a lot
like
to learn, and I
only
don't
know
think anyone
Dynamite
can get
and
up to
Butter,
speed.
and that's it. Those are the only 2 BTS songs I know.
I will say my overarching goal for K-pop as a whole is for me to come up to someone and say, hey, have you listened to K-pop? And they'll say, yeah. And then I'll say, what songs? And it's got to be something other than Dynamite, Butter, or Blackpink's Do-Do-Do-Do-Do. I cannot stand hearing those 3 songs over and over again. Listen to something new. Anyway.
Blackpink in your area. Anyway, I'm going to leave with that. Guys, have a good night. It was a pleasure. I'll talk to you in the next one.